immersion magic arena is going to begin tomorrow, and I'm very excited because I'm doing this up a little bit. The set that's going to be coming out is Theros Beyond Death, which is actually like a part 2 or a sequel, whatever, to another Theros set that came out. It must be at least 10 years ago by now, and it was my favorite set of all time. It actually got me back into Magic. I had played when I was pretty young, went a long time without ever playing again, and then I, picked it back up with Theros, and I would say in the last 2 years I've gotten back into it a third time, and I've really enjoyed it. Hi, Flamboyant Pickle, how are you? So I'm just really excited, and if anyone watching is a Magic fan and you're not sure, or you don't see any connection to the whispering, it is, I am in an ASMR channel, so it's gonna be both Magic and then ASMR as well. So we're going to just be looking at the cards. I haven't looked at a single card yet. That's not true. There is a YouTuber who I've watched one video about, so I've seen a couple cards, but not that many. So I'm just gonna be looking through pretty much as many as I can. I'm not sure if this article, this is from Wizards of the Coast, who makes Magic. I'm not sure if these are all of the new cards. I would imagine that it's pretty close. I mean, there's a lot of cards here, so I would assume these are all of them. So, this might be a long stream. That's okay. I want to kind of get, a feel for all of them and just give my reaction. So, yeah, let's get going. Next we have Banishing Light, a 3-mana rare enchantment. When Banishing Light enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent in opponent controls until Banishing Light leaves the battlefield. So this is basically the same as so there's the Hieromancer Prison. It's similar to, and then there's also Prison Realm is the card that I'm thinking of, so pretty similar. I think it's basically Prison Realm. The only thing it doesn't have is Scry 1, so you know, it's still good, but yeah, it's fine. The Birth of Meletis, 2 mana, white, and this is a Saga card, and so Sagas have shown up in a few other, maybe it's just one, yeah, it might just been one other set. I think it was Heroes of Dominaria, so they're bringing it back. So the way these work is, you have 3 turns, and when you cast this, it starts on the first turn, and then the next turn something else happens, and then on the third turn something else happens. So this one is in uncommon. The first phase is you search your library for a basic Plains card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So that's fine. 2 is create a 0/4 colorless wall artifact creature token with Defender, and 3 is you gain 2 life. I would never play this. I don't think there's any real use for this. I don't really want a wall in any of my decks, so the fetch land is kind of nice, but I don't think this is worth it. It is very inexpensive, but there are probably lots of other cards you could play, so I'm not in love with that. We have Captivating Unicorn, which is so we're getting into some commons now. Again, I don't think these are all of the white cards, there's no way. Oh, there are more. Okay, these are sorted by alphabetical order, that's why. Okay. So Captivating Unicorn, 5 mana unicorn creature. That art is really nice. I like it. It has Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, tap a target creature and opponent controls. So that could be very good. I would think. The only thing is it's very expensive. So I take that back. This is too expensive. It's 4/4, which is fine. But yeah, it would be very difficult to just fit this in on that 5 slot. When you're making a deck, those high mana slots, they need to bring lots of worth, and they need to bring a big punch, and so this is just not that. Unfortunately, it's just too much mana. Maybe you make this 4 mana, it'd be, valuable, but it's just too expensive. And you might hear me say that a lot, because Magic tends to have a lot of cards that might be okay if they just weren't as expensive as they are. It just happens every set. The next card is Commanding Presence. It is a 4 mana enchantment aura. I'm expecting that there's a 2 mana creature that is already, I think it was in the M20 core set, and it is an enchantment based creature, and so every time an enchantment enters the battlefield something happens, but I think that card is going to be valuable, it seems. Anyways, so this is 4 mana, you enchant creature. The enchanted creature gets a +2/+2 and has first strike, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. I think that's pretty good. Again, it's a little expensive, but if you're, cranking out a bunch of 1/1s, the white color can do a lot with those small creatures. White is all about kind of strength and numbers type of thing, so yeah, that might be good. I would say it's kind of in the middle. It seems alright. Next we have Dawn Evangel. It's a 3 mana enchantment creature, human cleric. Whenever a creature dies, if an aura you controlled was attached to it, return target creature card with seems pretty good to me. For a two, it's also a 2/3. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely seeing a theme so far with the enchantments being a big deal. So, yeah. The only thing with enchantments and especially auras are you can't put too many in a deck, or else you just don't have enough creatures, and you have to have a good balance between creatures and enchantments. So, yeah. But I think that would probably fit into, a white enchantment deck. Alright, and next we have Daxos, Blessed by the Sun, as a 2-mana white creature. And so I will have to point this out. Theros has this this other mechanic that existed in the first set. It's called Devotion, and the way Devotion works is if you see the mana symbols in the top right, depending on how many of those you have on any permanents in the battlefield, it'll give you a value for something. So you can see Daxos' toughness is equal to your devotion to white. So the fact that he has 2 white symbols means that you get 2 devotion from this creature. And then if you have other creatures who also have those symbols, you'll also get extra devotion from that. So, it kind of is, again, almost like a tribal thing. You want all of your creatures to have a lot of the same symbols, which means that you want to play a mono deck in order to make this work. So, basically this creature can have a lot of health, can be a good defender, and whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, you gain 1 life. That seems like a pretty good white card to me. It's kind of one of those all-rounders, it'll fit into a lot of different white decks, so I think that is a pretty good card. I would imagine this is going to get some play. Next we have Daybreak Chimera, 5 mana. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is your devotion to white. So it's a 3/3 flyer. I wouldn't use this card, but I like the art. Dreadful Apathy, 3 mana aura, enchanted creature can't attack or block. 3 mana exile enchanted creature. Okay, so that's terrible. The only thing that makes this card any bit redeeming is its the ability on the card. So there's another card called Pacifism, which is a 2 mana, does the exact same thing. So you pay 1 less mana, except you cannot exile the creature, but you don't need that. So I think that card's terrible. Next we have Eidolon of Obstruction. It's a 2 mana rare, first strike, loyalty. Abilities of planeswalkers your opponent's control cost 1 more to activate, so that's pretty great. It would probably end up being a sideboard card, unless planeswalkers become kind of meta and everyone uses them. But yeah, that's an extremely good card. Very, very good sideboard card. Elspeth Conquers Death, 5 mana. Exile target permanent in opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater. Non-creature spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast. Until your next turn, return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter or a loyalty counter on it. Alright, that's pretty good. It's very control-y. I'm not sure if... Yeah, it's... Again, it's... So the second one is very much situational. You might not even need the second one. You'd have to be playing it against the right deck. The first one is also situational, so I feel like there's a lot that would need to kind of come together to make this card actually work. And in general, the sagas in the last so I don't think this is going to be great, but who knows. So now we have Elspeth, Sun's Nemesis. Now, Elspeth is probably one of my favorite planeswalkers, and I like the art in this one. I like how that staff she has, whatever that she has, is coming off of the border, you know, kind of makes it a little 3D. I like it. So she is a 4 mana. She is a mythic rare, so very, very rare card. And she's a planeswalker with 5 loyalty, which is a lot. Her -1 up to 2 target creatures you control each get +2/+1 until end of turn. -2, create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, and then -3, you gain 5 life. You can pay for an escape cost, and I believe escape is basically a way of getting creatures out of your graveyard, but in order to do it, you have to exile other cards in your graveyard, so there's going to be a lot of graveyard play. So you can pay 6 mana for her to escape, and I think she goes right to the battlefield. Yeah, so she does. She goes right to the battlefield. But you have to exile 4 cards in order for her to do that. My gut reaction is I don't like this card very much. I guess the -1 is fine. The -1 is good, you know, and then the -2 is good too. We'll see. Gaining life is actually not that great. It's not one of the preferred abilities in Magic. Life is really a tool for you, unless you gain a bunch of life and get to like 40 or 50. Life is not important. It's funny to think of it that way, but that's really how it works. So I don't really care about her -3 at all. I'm looking at the -1, -2. The escape is kind of expensive. I don't know, I think it's probably going to be not as good as some people might expect, so, which is kind of too bad. So the next card is Favored of Iroas, 3 mana. It's an uncommon constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, Favored of Iroas gains double strike until end of turn. That's pretty good. Double strike is very strong. It basically deals first strike and then regular damage. Hi Chloe, welcome. Magic the Gathering and ASMR is underrated. Yeah, I agree. Thank you. I'm curious if you have other ASMR channels, because I do. I do have one channel that I like. I think it's called Lily's Library, and she does magic videos, and I really like her videos. So, yeah, I just love magic, and so it makes sense to put that on my channel. But thank you. So the Favorite of Iroas card, I think, is pretty decent. Yeah, I think it would fit into like one of those enchantment decks, which it looks like white is going to be doing. So, I think since we're going pretty slowly, and yeah, so I think I might just do the uncommons and the rares for the rest of this. Because it's going to take me forever if I don't, so, yeah, we'll just do that. So we have Heliod, Suncrowned, 3 mana. This is a legendary enchantment creature. It's a god, and gods again existed in the other Theros deck, and I really loved those cards. So this is another mythic rare. It has indestructible as long as your devotion to white is less than 5. Heliod is not a creature. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. And you can pay 2 mana. Another dark creature gains lifelink until end of turn. So you can have a lot of fun with this for sure. I think this is going to be a great card. There are so many different ways to gain life in white. Lifelink most of my life, and what I would recommend is if you do want to try to get into Magic, get Magic Arena. It's free, and it's pretty. I'd say it's pretty good about giving players, packs to open and things like that, and a lot of the interactions are done for you, so you don't have to worry about the rules as much. So I would recommend looking into that if you're interested. But anyways, I really like this card, and I'll probably use it a lot. Next we have Heliod's Intervention. It is a X with 2 white mana card. So choose one, destroy X target artifacts and or enchantments. Target player gains twice X life. So again, depending on how the set goes, if every deck is running enchantments, this card might be really valuable. However, if not that many decks are running enchantments, or let's say half are, then this is just a sideboard card, which is fine. I do like the twice X life, but again, it'll depend if this card is used a lot or not. Next, we'll go over Heliod's Punishment on the right. So 2 mana, uncommon. It is an enchantment aura. Heliod's Punishment enters the battlefield. Totally agree about Magic Arena. It's a brilliant way to get a hang of it. Yeah, I think it's really good for introducing people to the game. And then, one of my good friends, I tried for a very long time in college to get him to try playing Magic, and he thought it was too nerdy, too whatever, too much, and then eventually he got Magic Arena, and now he's obsessed with Magic. So it is a good way. It's a good introduction for sure. So Heliod's Punishment enters the battlefield with 4 task counters on it. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. It loses all abilities and has tap. Remove a task counter from Heliod's Punishment, then if it has no task counters on it, destroy Heliod's Punishment. Okay, that's interesting. So it's basically pacifism except worse. So, I would never use this, unfortunately. Okay. Next we're gonna go over Hero of the Winds, which is a 4 mana rare human soldier. Really epic art on that one. I love the art for like angels and stuff like that for the white color. It is an uncommon. It has flying. It's a 1/4. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Hero of the Winds, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. I mean, a 1/4 is not amazing. It's a good blocker. It's okay. It might see some play. Idyllic Tutor, 3 mana. It's a rare. Search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. This is going to be used in probably every white deck now, I would assume. really good. Depending on, you know, if you have some kind of higher cost enchantments in there, it's a 3/4, so yeah. Do I have? I really like black as well, and I think black is one of the really strong colors. You know, a color that's traditionally very, very good. I don't know. I like all of them really. I would say my least favorite has always been red. I always found red a little boring, to be honest. So, do you have one a favorite color to play with? I really like this art over here. Now, I may be missing some really good common cards, but that's whatever. Oh well, I'm just gonna, you know, kind of admire the art. I wonder if I can. No, that's as big as it gets. Alright. White is your favorite. You love the flying types. Yeah, flying is really good, and I love white too, I would say. Historically, I've played green and white the most, so it is, yeah, it's a fun, it is a fun color to play, and yeah, I love just creatures in general, so, you know, white and green are really creature focused, which is nice. Alright, so we have Phalanx Tactics, which is a 2-mana uncommon. Target creature you control gets +2/+1 until end of turn. Each other creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I mean, that's pretty good. It's good for the cost, I would say that, for sure. So, the only thing is, I'm always looking for counters instead of, situational, increases to, power and toughness. You know, I think until end of turn, additions are fine, but generally I want counters. That's just kind of what I'm looking for, but that's still pretty good for the cost. Alright, we have Reverend Hoplite, which is a 5-mana uncommon. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create a number of 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens equal to your devotion to white. I think that is fantastic. Oh, but then I just saw it's a 1/2. Good God. Now I'm torn. If this was like a 3/3, I would be fine with it. But a 1/2 for 5 mana, I think one of the big things you have to think about when you play Magic is if you have a creature, you have to just look at it at its base level, like remove the ability, forget the ability, and then just look at, you know, if this ability wasn't on the card, would I want this by itself? That's a really good way to start, because if the answer is yes, then the ability is just going to add on to that, right? It's just going to make the card even better. But if you're starting with a card that you wouldn't want to play at its base level, then you're not starting off probably as good as you possibly could in a deck. So that's kind of how I look at creatures. So first off, a 5-mana 1/2 is complete garbage. It's unbelievably terrible. However, the text is very, very good. So I don't know. I think it's too expensive, but it is a good effect. So who knows? Anyways, let's move on. We have the common. This type of card is always in white. I am just gonna like look over the comments and see if there's anything maybe worth pointing out. Alright, so we have Shatter the Sky, which is a 4-mana rare. Each player who controls a creature with power 4 or greater draws a card, then destroy all creatures. Okay. So it's a board wipe. Board wipe for 4 mana is not bad. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. we're gonna skip that one. We have Terranika, a Crowan Veteran, which is 3 mana. It has Vigilance. It's a 3/3. It's a rare. It's a good start already. Whenever Terranika, a Crowan Veteran, attacks, untap another dark creature you control. Until end of turn, that creature has base power and toughness 4/4 and gains indestructible. That's solid. That's really good. Again, just on a base level, a 3/3 with Vigilance for 3 mana is fantastic. It's great. Vigilance is such a strong keyword. It's a really, really strong keyword. So yeah, I think this card's super good, and you can use it for so many different applications, you know. So basically, you can use, you know, what other white creature or other creatures in general to tap them if they have an ability where they have to tap. You can then untap them and then use them to attack. So instantly, I'm thinking of cards like Giant Killer. You know, that's a card that's really strong because you can tap other creatures with it, and then you can untap it and make it a 4/4. Like that plus this, I think is going to be a really interesting combo. So, all right, and then that's the end of the white cards. Yeah, cool. All right, let's move on to blue. Now, I have heard that blue and green are probably going to be really good. Again, I saw one video of a Magic player just kind of talking about a few cards, and it sounds like blue-green is going to be where it's at, so we'll see what blue is. So we have Illyrios Enraptured, which is a 3 mana 2/3. Illyrios Enraptured enters the battlefield tapped. It doesn't untap during your untap step if you control a reflection. When Illyrios enters the battlefield, create a 3/2 blue reflection creature token. Interesting. So you're basically getting 2 creatures, but you can only use one. That's interesting. I've never seen anything like that on a card, so I think it's kind of nice. The other thing is, 3 mana for a 3/2. You know, who really cares about that? But you are getting another creature after it, so yeah, I think it's fine. It's interesting. We have Ashiok's Erasure. 4 mana, it's a rare enchantment. It has flash. When Ashiok's Erasure enters the battlefield, exile target spell. Your opponents can't cast spells with the same name as the exiled card. When Ashiok's Erasure leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to his owner's hand. Okay. That's a good one. I think that's a great card. Well, it's a little expensive for what it does. The great thing about it is you can exile any spell. So that's, that's nice. And they can't play, the same one, so I think that's pretty good. It's not bad. Okay, let's move down. We have Caliph, Beloved of the Sea, which is a 3 mana, and it is a legendary enchantment creature. It's a demigod. Caliphy's power is equal to your devotion to blue. Okay, so it's similar to that other white card we saw. Creatures and enchantments you control have spells your opponents cast that target this permanent cost 1 more to cast. Okay, so that's basically the Boreal Elemental is that ability. Yeah, I like it. I also think it has 1 more toughness than that white card had. So yeah, that's a good, nice, defensive card. I like it. search from your graveyard to draw a card. No. No, 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 no. No. Sorry. That's bad. That's a bad card, I think. Okay. We have a mythic rare saga, Kiora Best the Sea God. Creatures create an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token with hexproof. Well, that's pretty good. This is an expensive saga, however. Tap all non-land permanents. Target opponent controls. They don't untap during their. Okay, so that's the sleep effect. Gain control of target permanent and opponent controls. Untap it. That's interesting. It's so expensive. 7 mana is so insanely. It's almost not worth. I don't think. Also, most 7 mana cards are not worth it unless you're able to ramp into them, in my opinion. So if you put this in a Simic deck, you're probably going to have a pretty solid card. However, if it's not in a Simic deck, you probably won't use it. Next we have Metamize Prophecy, which is a 2 mana saga. The art on that is super interesting. So the first one is Scry 2. 2 is choose a card name. 3, whenever you cast a spell with a chosen name for the first time, this turn draw 2 cards. Okay. Look at the top card of each player's library. Alright, so I mean this really allows you to do a lot of different things. I mean turn 2 it does like nothing really. Yeah, it allows you to draw 2 cards on turn 3, which is kind of nice. So, yeah, I think it's alright. Again, the sagas historically have not been very good. So, yeah, we'll see. Nadir Kraken. 3 mana, 2/3. Whenever you draw a card, you may pay 1 if you do put a +1/+1 counter on Nadir Kraken and create a 1/1 blue tentacle creature token. It's interesting. I think this could be fantastic. Yeah, I like it a lot. I think being able to dump off extra mana is very helpful, because there can be turns where you don't have the right amount of mana. You're gonna have to, you're gonna have extra mana. So being able to use extra mana in any way is really nice. So yeah, I think this could actually be a really good card. I like it. Okay, we have One with the Stars, which is a 4 mana uncommon aura. You can enchant a creature or an enchantment. Enchanted permanent is an enchantment and loses all other card types. Interesting. So you would want to use this on enchantment creatures, right? So especially the gods. The gods are going to be really strong, so you would just use this, and now that the enchantment creature gods cannot ever attack, which I guess is a super, a super sideboard card. It's so situational. It's also expensive. Like, just I'd rather have removal than that. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, we have Protean Thaumaturge. Some of these names are just really tough. So this is a 2 mana rare human wizard. It has constellation, so when enchantment enters battlefield under your control, you may have Protean Thaumaturge become a copy of another target creature, except it has this ability. Okay. It's a 1/1. Alright, so we have to think about this. So, you can just have creatures just keep turning into other creatures, right? If I'm reading this correctly. Yeah, so, and they can keep changing. Wow, that's so interesting. So you can just keep moving things around. Like, let's say one turn you really need this creature, right? And then through the next turn you really need another creature. You can just keep switching as long as you have enchantments coming in, right? The only thing is you have to build it up a little bit. That's so interesting. I think this has so many different applications. There's no way it won't be good. However, you do have to worry about the fact that it's a 1-1, you know. But yeah, I can just see this having so many different applications. I'm interested to see what people do with this. I think you could probably do a lot of weird things with that. Okay, next we have a Sage of Mysteries, which is a 1-mana uncommon. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. So this could be good for either a self-mill deck, or if you, for some reason, want to mill the other player. So, yeah, I mean, if you have one of those decks, then it's good. Yeah. Excuse me. I'm actually going to put this aside for a second. I do have a vitamin C drop now, so if you don't like those, those types of sounds, oh well. Okay. Alright, so we are on Sea God's Scorn, which is a 6-mana uncommon. Return up to 3 target creatures and or enchantments to their owner's hands. So this is like, there's another card. It's called like Captivating Gyre, I think, and it's terrible. I think this card is terrible. So no, it's way too expensive. And who cares? You want to remove creatures, you know. I mean, you can use this for different reasons, but no, it's not a good card. We have Shimmerwing Chimera, which is a 4-mana uncommon 3/2. Flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, return up to 1 other target enchantment you control to its owner's hand. Okay. So, if you have an enchantment that does something when it enters the battlefield, this could be really useful. Yeah, again, I'd have to, see kind of what the applications are, but it seems alright. We have the Shoal Kraken, which is a 5-mana uncommon. It's a 3/5. Whenever an enchantment card enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. If you do discard a card, this is an interesting one because it kind of goes hand in hand with the Chimera that's next to it. So, yeah. It's alright, kind of expensive. Alright. We have Stinging Lionfish, which is a 2-mana uncommon. Really awesome art. I mean, look at the art for these 2 cards right here. I mean, they're all 3 of them are so different from each other, like style-wise. But they're all super cool and like vibrant with color. So, this is a 2/1 fish. Whenever So it'd be good for like a flash deck or just a spell deck, you know. Yeah, I like that. Cool. Sweet Oblivion, 2 mana, uncommon. Target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. Escape, exile 4 of their cards. Okay, so again, it's either a mill deck or self-mill. And 4 cards is a lot. So, could be good. Next we have Thassa, Deep Dwelling. Here we have another one of the gods. This is the blue god. 4 mana, legendary enchantment creature, mythic rare. She is indestructible as long as your devotion to blue is less than 5. She isn't a creature. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 other target creature you control. Then return that card to the battlefield under your control. Okay. Tap 4 mana. You can tap another target creature. 6/5. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. You know, I mean, you're just constantly building up your board with creatures for free. So, and you know, she's not that expensive for what she does either. So, I think she's really good. Most of the god creatures are pretty strong. Next we have Thassa's Intervention, which is a X/2/2 rare instant. Choose 1, look at the top X cards of your library, put 2 of them, up to 2 of them, into your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. Or counter target spell unless the controller pays twice X. Okay. So it's a delve type of card. Yeah. I think that could be good. I don't really have too much more to say about it. This is a wall of text on this next card here. So we have 2 mana, blue, 1/3. It's Thassa's Oracle. Merfolk Wizard. When Thassa's Oracle enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion to blue. Put up to 1 of them on top of your library, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any random order. If X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game. Okay, so this would be good in a self-mill deck. And you could get this done real quick too. That's a really good card. That's going to be a super important card for any self-mill deck that you do. Absolutely. Yeah. This might be a cornerstone blue card. Alright, let's move on. We have Threnody Singer. 2 mana, uncommon, siren with flash and flying. It's a 1/3. When Threnody Singer enters the battlefield, target creature and opponent controls gets a -X/-0 until end of turn, where X is your devotion to blue. I don't really love that mechanic at all. I don't think their ability. I don't think subtracting a creature's attack for 1 turn really has that much value. So really, you're just gonna look at the card at its base, and it does have flash, has flying at 1/3. So just based on those things, it's not bad. Next we have Thrix, the Sudden Storm, which is a 5 mana rare elemental giant. It's a 4/5 with flash and flying. Spells you cast with converted mana cost 5 or greater, cost 1 less to cast, and can't be countered. That's pretty solid. I mean, you know, that'll have a very specific niche, or niche, I should say. So, yeah. Also, really awesome art. Really cool. So, alright, next we have Wave Break Hippocamp. 3 mana, Horror Force Fish. Okay. It's a 2-2. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, draw a card. Alright. Very, very solid. Yep. That's gonna be used a lot. I mean, yes. That's like the exact card blue decks want right here. Drawing cards and helping you out with instants and flash. And look at how many cards have flash in this set. So that's, yeah, really good card. I'm liking blue a lot. Right, last one. Whirlwind Denial, 3 mana, uncommon. It's an instant. For each spell and ability your opponent controls, counter it unless its controller pays 4. Okay, so it's if they're like stacking abilities and spells, I think. Like you can't just counter something that's on the battlefield, right? Yeah, I think that has to be what it means. So it's like it's counting more than one spell. Okay. Yeah. A little confused, but hopefully that's what that means. Alright, on to black. And oh my god, what is happening in these cards? Look at this one. Wow. Okay. So the first one, Agonizing Remorse. It's a 2 mana uncommon sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it, or a card from their graveyard. Exile that card. You lose 1 life. Okay, so that's gonna be really good for this set in particular because of the escape ability. So, yeah, because you can just get rid of an escape card from the graveyard. It's also pretty cheap, and it's also a choose a non-land card. So you're getting, what is that card? Thought Erasure. Basically, it's a Thought Erasure. So yeah, that's gonna be used, I think. We have Ephemia, the Cacophony. 2 mana. It's a rare harpy, legendary enchantment creature. It's a 2/1. It has flying. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile an enchantment card from your graveyard. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Okay. I like that. The only thing is, I know that with the escape ability again, you may not want to be exiling too many cards with this. However, if you're playing black, you're probably gonna have a lot of cards in your graveyard anyways. So, yeah, I think that's gonna be good. It's a good cheap card too. It's a 2/1 flyer with for 2, and that's really good. Yeah. So, next we have Cling to Dust, which is a 1 mana uncommon instant. Exile target card from graveyard. Okay, Steam just decided to start randomly. Great. Cling to Dust. Exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, you gain 3 life. Otherwise, you draw a card. You can do the escape for 4, and you exile 5 other cards. Okay. So you can get rid of an enemy, or an opponent's creature in a graveyard. That's fine. yeah, this would definitely go in my deck, I think. It's very simple. Okay. Finish that off. You have Eat to Extinction. 4 mana rare. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard. It's really expensive, I think. I mean, exiling a planeswalker is nice. But I don't know if the second part of that is worth the extra mana, so I wouldn't be able to play this card, I don't think. Elspeth's Nightmare, 3 mana, Uncommon Saga. First is destroy target creature and opponent controls with power 2 or less. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature non-land card from it. That player discards that, so that's Distress. I'm sorry, Duress, not Thought Erasure. 3 is exile target opponent's graveyard. Now that could be really, really useful. Really useful. Once again, this might end up being a sideboard card. There might be a lot of sideboard cards in this if the meta doesn't go the way that maybe Wizards wants it to go. You know. But that last one is going to be really, really key, I think, especially for those, you know, those escape abilities. So this will probably get used a little bit, I would imagine. We have Enemy of Enlightenment, 6 mana, uncommon demon, enchantment creature. It's a 5/5 with flying. Enemy of Enlightenment gets -1/-1 for each card in your opponent's hand. In your opponent's hands. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player discards a card. Oh boy. No, I think it's too expensive. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that card. I think it's a tricky card to kind of think about. I think it's too expensive for what it does. Being able to have a player discard their card, discard a card every upkeep is great, but by the time turn 6 comes along, they're already probably gonna have a pretty low hand, unless they're playing like blue, right? So this card would be awful against blue. And again, if you're playing most other players, they're probably, more often than not, they're not going to have a very full hand by the time this creature comes out. Anyways, they might be at 2 cards, so like now you're kind of losing value from the card. You are gaining value because you don't have the -1/-1 anymore. So, yeah, maybe I'm looking at the creature wrong, I don't know. Let's move on to the awesome Erebos Blackhearted. Look at that art. That is so cool. Definitely my favorite god art so far. It's a 4 mana mythic rare legendary enchantment creature. It's a 5/6 with indestructible as long as your devotion to black is less than 5. It isn't a creature. Whenever another creature you control dies, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. Alright. You can pay 2, sacrifice another creature. Target creature gets -2/-1 until end of turn. Alright. This will definitely be good for the, the escape abilities. There's going to be a lot of graveyard play with black, so, that kind of boosts the value of this card a lot. Alright, let's keep going. We have, well, this is like one of my favorite cards of all time, but we'll get to it and we'll talk about it. We have Gravebreaker Lamia. It's a 5 mana, 4/4 creature, snake, enchantment creature. It's a rare with lifelink. When Gravebreaker Lamia enters the battlefield, search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. Okay. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 1 less to cast. Alright, that's pretty strong. It's a little expensive, but I think it might be worth it. So you get to tutor, and you get all cards from the graveyard cost 1 less. So I think that's probably a good 5-slot card for what it does. However, the 5-slot will almost always belong to this next card, the Grey Merchant of Asphodel. This card used to be a common, but now it's an uncommon. It existed in the last Theros set, and it's one of the best black cards of all time. And we're going to talk about why. So, this card, when Grey Merchant of Asphodel enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. So, again, with the graveyard play, this is a card that you're just going to be bouncing back and forth as much as you can. You can also bounce it with cards that allow you to put it back into your hand as well, and so you can just have, keep having the player, losing life and you're gaining life. So there's really just unlimited potential with this card, and it has, so again, devotion is important for this card as well, so you want to make sure you have, whatever the 2 mana black card is with the 2 devotion, you want to have that card in here. You want to have a lot of cards with the mana symbols. It's really important for this card to kind of get its max potential, right? But there are just so many ways to make this card destroy players, so yeah, I'm looking forward to using it. Be good. Alright. Next we have Hateful Eidolon, which is a 1 mana uncommon spirit. It's a 1/2 with lifelink. Whenever an enchanted creature dies, draw a card from each aura you control that was attached to it. Alright, yeah, that's really good. For a 1 mana, that's fantastic. So, yeah, that's probably going to be a very, very important card, I would imagine. We have Inevitable End, which is a 3 mana uncommon aura. Enchanted creature has, at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. So that could go very well with the Hateful Eidolon. So there's just a lot of synergy so far in black, which I'm liking. We have Minions Return, which is a 3 mana aura enchantment. It has flash. When an enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control. Okay. Yeah. It's not bad. Mire Triton, 2 mana, zombie merfolk, uncommon 2/1 with Death Touch. When Mire Triton enters the battlefield, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard and you gain 2 life. Alright. That's alright. I think you might also want to think about possibly using Surveil with these types of decks. I wouldn't only use Surveil cards, but it could help you, choose which card you want to go in your graveyard and things like that, Okay, we have... Alright, so this is a card that I did see in the other video, and I think it's probably the best card in the set, besides maybe Grey Merchant of Asphodel. So, earlier, I said that black is usually one of the stronger colors, just in general, and it's already looking like it's going to be really, really strong after this set. So, this is a 4 mana demon enchantment creature. It's a 4/4. Right there, that's fantastic. 4 mana, 4/4 with flying, positive, right? That this card will do disgusting things with this card. So, because if you think about it, when it dies, every time it dies, it's coming back into the battlefield as a token. And so you're getting that ability twice, basically, right? So it comes in, it dies, it comes back in as a token, then you can bring it back in from the graveyard. And then if the token dies, oh no, sorry, it has to be non-token. Never mind, so you can only do it once for it to work. But that's still really, really good, and there's so many other cards this is going to be good with. I mean, this is going to be in every deck. It's probably going to be banned, I think. I think it's a crazy good card. So, anyways, we have Farika's Spawn, which is a 4-mana uncommon. Gorgon 3/4. Has escape for 6 mana, exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Farika's Spawn escapes with 2+1/+1 counters on it. When it enters the battlefield this way, each opponent sacrifices a non-Gorgon creature. Alright, that's pretty solid. It's not bad. What we have next? Treacherous Blessing. 3 mana rare. When Treacherous Blessing enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose 1 life. When Treacherous Blessing becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. Okay. So it's a big trade-off. I mean, 3 cards is nice. I don't know, I feel like I'd have to test this one to see if it is worth it. I don't know if it is. Yeah, I mean, you could target it with one of your spells, but I would assume there are some spells you can use to target it that won't really affect you too much, Next we have another Saga, 3 mana, Timuret Calls the Dead. It's a rare. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may exile a creature enchantment card from your graveyard if you... Oh, so this is the same ability for 2 turns. I was so confused. Okay. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard, then you may exile a creature or enchantment card from your graveyard. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Alright. You gain X life and scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. Alright, that'd be cool. You could do like a tribal zombie deck with that. Yeah. That's probably pretty good. We have Timuret Chosen from Death. This is the Devotion card for 2 mana. It's a demigod uncommon. Timuret's toughness is equal to your devotion to black. You can pay 2, exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards. You gain 1 life for each creature card exiled this way. So yeah, this is gonna be great. I think all of these demigod cards I've seen so far are gonna be in all of the decks that are gonna be coming out. So I think this is a very strong card. Underworld Dreams. So this is an enchantment with 3 devotion. So already that's a really good start. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Underworld Dreams deals 1 damage to that player. Alright, yeah, that's pretty good. Again, who even cares about the ability? You're getting 3 devotion off this. That's almost enough. The card could be blank, and it would still have value. We have Woe Strider for 3 mana. It's a rare 3/2. When Woe Strider enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 white goat creature token. Sacrifice another creature, scry 1. You can escape, exile 4 other cards from your graveyard. Okay. I mean, you could also use that goat for other reasons. I probably wouldn't use it for the ability that's on this card. seems fine. Alright, now we're moving on to red. I believe we have red and green left, and then there's artifacts as well. Go over. I hope everyone is enjoying it so far. I hope your guys are enjoying the magic, and if anyone in the chat wants to let me know what their favorite color to play with is, or if you don't like magic, maybe are there any cards that maybe you're looking at that you like, anything like that. So let's go into red. We have the Akroan War for 4 mana. So you gain control of target creature for as long as the Akroan War remains in the battlefield. Until your next turn, creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able. Each tapped creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. Okay. Yeah, that's really good. I think that's really good. Being able to swipe a card for 3 turns can be really, really useful. So, I mean, yoinking is proven to be one of the strongest things you can do. However, it can be very difficult to do that. So being able to yoink a card for 3 turns is good. So that's probably, it might be the best saga I've seen yet. I'm not sure. Let's move on to Anax Hardened in the Forge. This is the demigod for red, and his power is equal to his devotion to red. Whenever Anax or another non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 red satyr creature token with this creature can't block. If the creature had power 4 or greater, create 2 of those tokens instead. Okay. Now this one's interesting because instead of toughness, it's power. Whereas all the other cards I saw, the power was equal to the devotion, so that's kind of cool. Well, I hope you have a great night, Chloe. Thanks for stopping by, really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully see you again. Have a good one. Okay. Yeah, I think this card's really good. I really like it. Be good in a red creature deck. So, okay. Alright, next we have Blood Aspirant. 2 mana, uncommon, Satyr Berserker. I really like satyrs. There was a couple satyrs in the last Theros set as well. There was one, I think it was Blood Drinker Satyr, and I love that card. This is a 1/1. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Blood Aspirant. 1 in tap, sacrifice creature or enchantment. Blood Aspirant deals 1 damage to target creature. That creature can't block this turn. Alright, that's an interesting card. It has a lot of utility, a lot of things you can really do with it, so yeah. Next we have Careless Celebrant, 2 mana uncommon, Satyr Shaman. It's a 2/1. When Careless Celebrant dies, it deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker and opponent controls. Alright, that's pretty simple. It's okay. It's an okay card. Definitely fits into red. Next we have Dream Shaper, the Shaman, for 6 mana. That was hard to say. Dream Shaper's Shaman. 6 mana, uncommon, enchantment creature. Minotaur Shaman. It's a 5/4. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 3 and sacrifice a non-land permanent. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land permanent. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in any random order. So it's expensive, but I think it might be worth it. Might be good in some kind of deck. Looks like sacrificing is a big thing with red. Dreamstalker Manticore, 3 mana, uncommon. It's a 4/2. And whenever you cast your first spell, during each opponent's turn, Dreamstalker Manticore deals 1 damage to any target. So yeah, that's really good. Being able to deal 1 damage to any target is really nice. So yeah, and it's 4/2. I absolutely would put this in a deck, I think. I mean, you could put, what is that other card? The, Iron Crag, Pyromancer. Whenever you draw your second card, you deal 3 damage, so you can do that and then deal 1 damage with this, and, yeah. So we have Escape Velocity, it's 1 mana, uncommon, enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has haste. You can escape, exile 2 other cards. That's fine, I think. For 1 mana, it's not bad. But, yeah, I mean, haste is okay. Like, it's not my favorite keyword in the world. It can be good if you have a lot of creatures with haste, but other than that, you know. We have Fateful End, which is a 3 mana uncommon instant, and it deals 3 damage to any target. Scry 1. No, I think that's a little too expensive, but yeah, there are definitely better burn spells out there. Too bad Lightning Strike isn't a thing anymore, at least not yet. We have Furious Rise, which is a 3 mana uncommon enchantment. The art on that one is awesome. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until you exile another card with Furious Rise. I'm sorry, I have to read this again. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, exile the top card of your library. Alright, I see. So it's just every turn you have a new creature you can use. It's almost like Light the Stage, but kind of like a different, yeah. So it's good, you know. I guess it's pretty good. Heroes of the Revel, 5 mana uncommon Satyr Soldier. It's a 4/4. When Heroes of the Revel enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 red Satyr creature token with this creature can't block. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Heroes of the Revel, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So that's interesting. I'd be interested to see if these, Satyr tokens, if you could, do like a Boros deck with, all those white tokens as well, and just make a super token deck kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. That seems fine. We have Impending Doom, which is 3 mana, uncommon aura. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and attacks each combat if able. When enchanted creature dies, Impending Doom deals 3 damage to that creature's controller. Okay. So you could use this against an opponent if you wanted to, or if you really, really want to buff one of your creatures, you could do that too, but it sounds like you would use it. So it kind of has an upside and a downside to it. Okay. Alright, we have Ox of Agonist. Really awesome art on that one. 5 mana. This is a mythic rare Ox. It's a 4/2. When Ox of Agonist enters the battlefield, discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. You can pay Escape for 2, which is very cheap. Exile 8 other cards, so that's not as cheap. When it escapes with a +1/+1 counter. So, yeah, that's interesting. If you want to get a lot of cards in your graveyard, of expensive for what it is. And, oh, Perfros. Alright, we'll get to him after we talk about Phoenix of Ash. So it's a 3 mana rare Phoenix. 2/2 has flying and haste. If you pay 3, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. You can escape for 4 mana and exile 3 cards. I think that's okay. 2/2 with flying for 3 is okay with haste. Yeah, that's fine. And you can buff it a little bit. It's alright. I think the escape is pretty okay. Yeah, I'm not in love with it. Alright, now we have Perfros, Bronze Blooded, 5 mana. This is the red legendary enchantment god. A 7/6, so he's the biggest god, I think, that I've seen. He is indestructible as long as your devotion to red is less than 5. It's not a creature. Other creatures you control have haste. Alright. You can pay 3. You may put a red creature card or an artifact creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. So yeah, there are endless possibilities with that, right? You can get really expensive cards on the battlefield. Especially if you have, let's say, a really expensive card with escape. So so much utility with that. So many possibilities. You know, letting all creatures have haste is kind of nice as well. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a good card. You know, again, most of the gods are pretty good. Moving on, we have Perfros' Intervention. Excellent one. Red. It's rare. Create X1 red creature elemental creature token. Sorry, create an X1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. Sacrifice at the beginning of your next instant. That's crazy. I've never seen an X on the ability. The power toughness like that. Perfos' Intervention deals twice X damage to target creature planeswalker. Okay. I mean, you could just body someone with that, the first one. Yeah, the only difference is that if you do the elemental, you can damage a player, but you cannot damage a player with the second ability. That's like the main difference there. Okay. Next we have Scophos, Maze Warden, 4 mana, uncommon. Minotaur Warrior, it's a 3/4. You pay 1, Scophos, Maze Warden gets +1/+1 until end of turn, so you can buff it up. Buff its attack a little bit. Whenever another creature becomes the target of an ability of a land you control, name Labyrinth of Scophos. You may have a Scophos. Maze Warden, fight that creature. So we'll have to look at that land in order to understand what that means. But, hi Amelia, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, I don't really know about that card. We have Storm Herald. And this is a 3 mana rare human shaman. It's a 3/2 with haste. When Storm Herald enters the battlefield, return any number of aura cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to creatures you control. Wow, okay. Exile those auras at the beginning of your next end step. If those auras would leave the battlefield, exile them instead of putting them anywhere else. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. That's definitely going to be really good. Again, I can't really, hypothesize exactly what type of play you would make with that, with the with the auras, but I'm sure there will be plenty of auras that will be super effective to use with this card. And, yeah, so I'm sure this will be used in a lot of decks. Next we have a sorcery, Storm's Wrath. 4 mana, rare. It deals 4 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. is the reason that card works very well. I know if you just had a burn deck, this would be good with that for sure. Next we have Tectonic Giant, 4 mana, rare. It's a 3/4. When it attacks or becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, choose one. Deals 3 damage to each opponent. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Choose one of them until the end of turn. Next turn you may play that card. Yeah, that's good. Again, kind of like a light up the stage type of ability. But it has to be an opponent's spell, so opponents can just avoid this creature altogether. You know, which is fine because it's a 3/4. Thrill of Possibility. That card already exists in like the last set, I think. All right. Next we have the Triumph of Anax. It's a 3 mana saga. It's uncommon. Until end of turn, target creature gains trample and gets +X+0, where X is the number of lore counters on the Triumph of Anax. Target creature you control fights up to. Target creature you control fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So we would get on the first turn, we get +1/+0, then +2/+0, then +3. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Next we have Underworld Breach, which is a 2 mana rare enchantment. Each non-land card in your graveyard has escape. Okay. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost plus exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Wow. Yeah, that's gonna be a super important card. It's gonna be in every single red deck, I would assume. So, yeah, that's insane. It might be one of the better cards I've seen. Underworld Fires, 2 mana, uncommon. It deals 1 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile instead. That's nice. That's really good anti-escape card, you know. I think this is probably pretty good. So, yeah. There's 2 separate. I'm seeing like a real creature-heavy deck, you know, and then I'm also seeing a burn deck in these cards, so. Alright, that's red. We're gonna move on. I think this is the last color, green. Let's see what we got. So we have Arasta of the Endless Web, 4 mana, rare, spider. It's a legendary enchantment creature, and it has reach. It's a 3/5. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach. I've been wanting to make a spider deck so badly, but there's no good spider cards in Arena right now, in Standard in general, so maybe there'll be some good spider card that I can use. That'd be awesome. I just really want to make a spider deck. I can't really explain why. Next we have the Binding of the Titans, 2 mana. It's a uncommon. Each player puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. Okay, that's good. Exile up to 2 target cards from their graveyards. Read creature card, exile this way, you gain 1 life. Alright. Return target creature card or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Alright, that seems pretty solid. Yeah. We have Chainweb Arachneer. Another spider. Here we go. It's happening. It's an uncommon 1/2. It has reach. Whenever it enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature with flying and opponent controls. Escapes with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. This is absolutely going to be happening. The spider deck is happening. I'm so excited. It's not going to be good, but I'm making a spider deck. That's cool. We have Destiny Spinners, 2 mana, uncommon human, enchantment creature, 2/3. Creature enchantment spells you control cannot be countered. Interesting. 4 mana, target land you control becomes an XX elemental creature with trample and haste until end of turn, where X is the number of enchantments you control. It's still a land. That's pretty good. It's mean, I like that saga, but I don't know what a gold token does, unfortunately. Alright, we have Hydra's Growth, 3 mana, uncommon. It's an enchanted creature. When Hydra's Growth enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on enchanted creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, double the number of +1/+1 counters on enchanted creature. Alright. That's cool. Huh. Interesting. I'm sure you could use that in a really good way. I'm not sure what that is. Anyways, let's move on to it's either Clothis or Clothis. I think it's Clothis. Clothis is design. 6 mana, uncommon. Creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn where X is your devotion to green. Alright, that seems like a pretty normal devotion card. It's very expensive though. And you don't get trample, which is kind of like the point. Because you can just, weenie block that, those creatures if you need to. So, probably not. Who knows? Might be good. Mantle of the Wolf, 4 mana, rare, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +4/+4. When Mantle of the Wolf is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create 2. Yeah, that's a really good card. Yeah. It's a very, very good card, I think. We have Mystic Repeal. It's like 1 mana green. Sorry. Uncommon. Put target enchantment on the bottom of its own library. Okay. Again, if the enchantments stick, and there's a lot of enchantment decks in the future, this card will be used a lot. If not, it's going to be a sideboard. Nessian Boar, 5 mana, rare. It's a 10/6. Oh boy. All creatures able to block Nessian Boar do so. Whenever Nessian Boar becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller draws a card. Wow. Huh. So you'll kill a lot of their creatures, but they're also going to be drawing a lot of cards. I'm not sure what to make of this. I think it depends on the board state, right? Obviously. I think if they have a lot of creatures out, then you want to play this. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not too sure what to make of this card, honestly. So next we have Nessian Horn Beetle, 2 mana, uncommon, insect, 2/2. Oh, we need more spiders in here. Come on, let's go. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control another creature with power 4 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on Nessian Horn Beetle. Okay. Alright, so it's almost like a pelt collector, except it's 1 more mana, and you continuously get counters on it. I think that could be pretty good. Alright, so we have Nessian Wanderer. It's a Satyr Scout, 2 mana, uncommon. It's a 1/3. It has Constellation, so whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a land card from among them, and put that card into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any random order. Alright, so it's fetch land kind of thing. Well, not fetch land, but land tutoring, land scrying, whatever you might want to call it. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Next we have Nylea, the Keen-Eyed. 4 mana. This is the green god for this set. It is a mythic rare 5/6. It has indestructible. It's not a creature unless you have 5 devotion. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Okay, that's pretty good. 3 mana. Reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you may put it into your graveyard. Right, pretty solid. Just like the other gods. Pretty solid. We have Nylea's Intervention. Man, Nylea has a lot of cards. Choose one, search your library for up to X land card. there's definitely some type of gate deck going on. So, yeah, I think that might be my favorite intervention card. We have Nyx Herald. It's a 3-mana Centaur Shaman enchant creature. 2/3 at the beginning of combat. On your turn, target enchanted creature or enchantment creature. You control gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. Alright, this is pretty solid. Sorry, we're getting close to the end here, and it's been almost 2 hours, so kind of a long stream for me. Nyx Bloom Ancient. It is a 7-mana green enchantment creature elemental. It's a mythic rare. It's a 5/5. It has trample. If you tap a permanent for mana, it produces 3 times as much of that mana. Wow. So once again, back to the Simic deck that I was talking about. This is going to be definitely in there. And, okay, so, if you have a Simic deck with Nissa, right? Nissa allows you to get 1 extra mana from any forest. So if you tap, if you were to get a green mana, you get an additional green mana from Nissa. So this now adds 3 times as much in addition to the one that you get from Nissa. And then you also have whatever that card was that makes all mana. Oh, this stupid card, where is it? This card. This card is so stupid because now Nissa, right? Nissa can so anytime you tap any land, it will trigger Nissa, which is stupid. So you're just getting an insane amount of mana with these decks. Ramp Simic is gonna be outrageous. I can't even like handle it. So yeah, a lot of stupid things happening with Simic right now. All right, we have Ferris Band Brawler at 6 mana 4/4. When Ferris Band Brawler enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Okay, yeah, that's pretty simple. It's really expensive, never mind. I wasn't really thinking about the mana cost. It's terrible. It's an awful card. I mean, you can make it work though, because Simic can do whatever it wants now. Renata, Call to the Hunt, 4 mana. This is the Demigod. It is an uncommon. Its power is equal to its devotion, so red and green both have power, while I think the other 3 colors have toughness. For the Demigods, each other creature you control enters the battlefield with additional +1/+1 counter on it. Hell yeah. So, imagine this card with Grumgully and Riot. If you have a Gruul deck, right? You have Riot and this card, and then you also have Grumgully. Like, it's all over. You're gonna have so many counters. And if you don't know what Grumgully is, it gives creatures +1/+1 counters when they enter the battlefield. So next we have a Citizen Champion, which is a 3 mana 1/3. It's a rare card. It has Constellation, so whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Citizen Champion and draw a card. Alright, pretty cool. Again, would probably fit right into that deck I just mentioned. Citizen Petitioner. 3 mana uncommon. It's a 2/2 human druid. When Citizen Petitioner enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to your devotion to green. Alright, that's fine. Again, gaining life isn't really the best thing in the world, unless you can make it useful. You have to turn it into also just have to throw out there the land Lotus Field, which allows you to get it allows you to get 3 mana of the same color. So if you have Lotus Field plus that stupid Nyx Bloom, whatever it's called, you're gonna have 3 times 3, which is 9 mana from one card. So Lotus Field green with that card will be stupid. I mean, we also have Simic, but Lotus Field's really for mono decks. I mean, generally. So yeah, you're gonna have to separate some cards into like devotion to green decks, and then also just the Simic decks. So you have to kind of split things up a little bit. You can also sacrifice Willow Haven for 5 mana, create a 2/2 green wolf token, activate this ability only during your turn, so that's fine, whatever. Now we have the multicolored. Oh god, here we go into the. These are gonna be good. Alright, I'm excited. So, the first one is Acolyte of Affliction. It's a Golgari deck, black card. 4 mana, black green. 2/3 uncommon. When Acolyte of Affliction enters the battlefield, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, I mean, Golgari is all about graveyard, so I'm assuming there's gonna be a really good Golgari deck, you know, with this set. We also have Allure of the Unknown, 5 mana. This is a Rakdos card. It is a rare. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. An opponent exiles a non-land card from among them, and then you put the rest into your hand. That opponent may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Okay, so it's kind of like a, you know, you're taking a gamble with this card. It's also it's a draw 4. No, sorry, it's a draw 5 for 5 mana. So that's pretty good, I'd say. But the thing is, Rakdos doesn't need to draw. That's not the point of Rakdos. So I don't know if this card's gonna be worth it. Anyways, we have Ashiok, Nightmare Muse. This is a dimmer deck. I'm sorry, I keep saying deck. It's a dimmer card. For 5 mana, it's a Planeswalker. It's a mythic rare. It has 5 loyalty, which is again a lot. Its +1 is create a 2/3 blue and black nightmare creature token with whenever this creature attacks or blocks, each opponent exiles the top 2 cards of their library. Alright. Its -3 is return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Then that player exiles a card from their hand. Okay. And then -7, you may cast up to 3 face-up cards your opponents own from exile without paying their mana cost. Interesting. An exile ability. Wow. You don't see those very often. Interesting. I mean, that's probably pretty good. The art is fantastic. It's super cool. Next we have a 4 mana, 3/2 legendary creature. It's a human advisor. And it's Atris, Oracle of Half-Truths. It has menace, and when it enters the battlefield, target opponent looks at the top 3 cards of your library and separates them into a face-down pile and a face-up pile. Put one pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. So that's a really cool effect. There's another card in, I think, Theros. It was called. It was, I think, Steam Augury, and I love that card. And it was basically the opposite of this. So you got to separate 5 cards into 2 piles, and then the opponent chose one, but they get to look at both of them. So this one's kind of interesting. I would love to use this card just to kind of, you know, see what I could do with it. It just seems like a really fun card. Next we have Bronze-Hide Lion, and this is a Celestia 2 mana 3/3. It's a cat. Now creatures, and so the creature is called Fleecemane Lion, and I think this is kind of, it's probably referencing that card a little bit because it's very similar. Anyways, you can pay a green and a white, and it gains indestructible until end of turn. It is a 3/3. When Bronze Hide Lion dies, return it to the battlefield. It's an aura enchantment with enchant creature you control, and oh wow, it gains the same ability. It loses all other abilities, however, when you do that. So, I mean, this is great. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this card. I really like Selesnya. It's just my favorite color pair, I would say. So, yeah, I'm gonna use this a lot. I think it's cool. And also, good 2-drops are really important. So, next we have Calyx, Destiny's Hand. You do not see many Selesnya planeswalkers. In fact, what is the oh, you have a Johnny was a Selesnya. Anyways, so it has 4 loyalty. It is a mythic rare 4 mana. Okay, I can't read that. Look at the +1 is look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an enchantment card from among them and put that card into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. Any random order. That's great. That's really useful. Now, the -3 is exile target creature or enchantment you don't control until target enchantment you control leaves the battlefield. Interesting. Okay, I like it. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. I don't know. I think this is going to be a fantastic planeswalker. This might be. I mean, this is going to be really good. Selesnya might have a. I think Selesnya might be like one of the better decks. That's a really good planeswalker. All of the multicolors so far have been good. I mean, these two, whatever, but like these 4 have been really good. Next we have Dalico's Crafter of Wonders. It's a 3 mana. This is an Izzet card. Merfolk Artificer, 2/4. Tap it, add 2 colorless. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. Equipped creatures you control have flying and haste. So this is definitely going to be used. Adding 2 mana with 1 card is really good, and plus the other ability. So yeah, this is going to be good in an artifact deck. Okay. Next we have Devourer of Memory. It's a Dimir deck, 2 mana nightmare creature. It's uncommon 2/1. Whenever 1 or more cards are put into your graveyard from your library, Devourer of Memory gets +1/+1 till end of turn and can be blocked this turn. Interesting. You can pay 3 to put the top card of your library into your graveyard. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Just gonna pay in order to do that. Yeah, that's cool. It's even better if you can like scry first, kind of see what you're doing, you know, making sure you're putting a card in the graveyard that you want to put in there, that type of thing. Next we have Dream Traveler, another really cool art on this one. This is 6 mana. It is a Azorius card. It's white-blue. 3/5 rare. It's a Sphinx. It has flying and lifelink. Whenever you draw a card, Dream Traveler gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Whenever it attacks, draw a card. Discard a card. Dream Traveler gains hexproof until end of turn. Tap it. Okay, so you can protect it by using that second ability. You can buff it by using the first 2. It is fairly expensive, but it has a lot of utility. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's expensive, but I think you could definitely use it. It might be worth the cost. Next we have Enigmatic Incarnation. It's a 4 mana. It's a Simic card. It is a rare enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another enchantment. If you do, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal like Neoform, that card. Except you can do it every turn. So, yeah, that might be alright. We have Eutropia, the twice favored, another Simic card. Really cool. 3 mana, uncommon wizard, human wizard, 2/2. It has Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains flying until end of turn. Yeah. That's gonna be really good, I think. I know most of this stream has just been me saying that's really good or that's really bad, but that's kind of the best way that I can analyze these cards, really. We have Gallia of the Endless Dance, which is a Gruul card. It's a 2/2 rare. It has haste, and other satyrs you control get +1/+1 and have haste. So again, there were those red cards where they create a lot of 1/1 satyrs. So you would put this card with those. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may discard a card at random. If you do, draw 2 cards. Okay. Yeah. That could be really useful. Once again, like, Gruul doesn't really need to draw. That's not the point of Gruul. Gruul is more aggro. Just get the creatures out and just do it, so... yeah, I don't know, drawing is really what you want, but it isn't a bad card. You know, it's not a bad ability, and so I think it, will be used for sure. It's very cheap and, has a lot of value. I really enjoying all of the multicolored cards so far. And we also have some artifacts and lands. Looks like the temples are coming back. Temple of Plenty, which is another Selesnya. Temple of Malice so these are all just, so there were some colors that already had these types of cards, and now they're just filling in the other colors with them, which is nice. And then this is that land that was in that other card, the Scophos. Okay, yeah, so. Alright, where were we? Right here. Haktos the Unscarred. It's a 4 mana Boros card. It's a 6/1, and it's rare. Haktos the Unscarred attacks each combat if able. Of course he does. As Haktos enters the battlefield, choose 2, 3, or 4 at random. Haktos has protection from each converted mana cost other than the chosen number. Wow, I've never seen anything like that. That's crazy. So hopefully, you'll have. You are gambling with this card. However, even if something blocks it, and I mean, you can easily kill this card with a shock or anything else. Like it's not gonna be hard to kill this card. And 4 mana, so like it has a really good upside if you can make it work. But if you can't, it's such a risky card. I don't know. It might be used. Who knows? We have a 3 mana Boros, uncommon 2/2, Hero of the Nyxborn. When Hero of the Nyxborn enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Hero of the Nyxborn creatures, you can now get +1/+0 until end of turn. That's pretty good. Pretty simple. We have Clothis, God of Destiny. It's a 3 mana Gruul card. This is another god. 4/5. It is indestructible. As long as your devotion to running green is less than 7. Okay, so it has a higher devotion cost for it to be a creature. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, exile target card from your graveyard. If it was a land card, add red and a green, or green. Otherwise, you gain 2 life. describe this card and why it would be good, but I think it will be good. Yeah. Next we have Croxa, Titan of Deathsonger. 2 mana, this is a Rakdos card, Elder Giant. It's a mythic rare, it's a 6/6. When Croxa enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. Okay, so it immediately gets sacrificed. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card. Then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. And its escape is 4, and you have to exile 5 other cards, and it's a 6/6. So you have to pay 6 mana total for this card to be on the battlefield. But its abilities are really, really strong. Yeah, it's a really good card. Absolutely. Next we have Kunaros, Hound of Athrio. The card names in this are too complicated. Kunoros, Hound of Athrios. This is an Orzhov card. It's a 3/3 rare. It's a Hound and Vigilance, Menace, Lifelink. Wow. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. Creature cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Interesting. Players can't cast spells from graveyards. Wow. You know what other card will be really, really good in this set? Grafdigger's Cage. Because you cannot bring, it's a 1 mana artifact and it stops players from getting cards from their graveyard. That's gonna be main boarded in so many decks. It's kind of funny. I don't know. Like this card is really great. I love that card. But like, just use Grafdigger's Cage. It's literally a 1 mana solution to so many decks in this set. So it's kind of funny. Anyways, we have Mischievous Chimera, which is a Izzet card. It's a uncommon Chimera 2/2. It has flying. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, Mischievous Chimera deals 1 damage to each opponent. Scry 1. Alright, so there's a lot of those types of cards. There was the other one that deals 3 damage, that giant. So, yeah. It has a lot of those, like, whenever you do, first spell or the second, draw your second card, that type of, those types of abilities. There's a lot of those. I've seen this one already. So this is Polukranos, Unchained. It's a 4 mana Golgari. And if you didn't play the first Theros set, there was a card. It was Polukranos, World Eater, and it was one of my favorite cards. It was a green card, so this is kind of like the, it's the same type of creature basically. And it is a zombie Hydra. So it enters the battlefield with 6 +1/+1 counters on it. And it escapes with 12 +1/+1 counters on it. If damage would be dealt to Polukranos while it has a +1/+1 counter on it, prevent that damage, remove that many. So that's basically Ugin's Conjurant, right? You pay 3 and it fights another creature. And the escape is 6. So that's, this card is so good. It's gonna be so good. So, yeah, it's a 6/6 for 4 mana by itself, and then all the other crazy stuff it does. So that's gonna be played 100%. That's probably one of the best cards in the set. Next we have Rise to Glory, which is a 5 mana Orzhov uncommon sorcery. You can choose one or both. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Return target which can be very, very dangerous. Tutoring is a very, very strong effect. Alright, just a couple more, and we will be done with the stream. I've seen 4 or 5 people in the stream, so thank you all so much for stopping by and watching. I appreciate you guys being here. It was a long one, and I'm definitely getting tired and also hungry, so yeah, but thank you guys. Next we have a Slaughter Priest of Mogis. It's a Rakdos card, 2 mana. It's a 2/2. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, Slaughter Priest of Mogis gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Now this is a good Rakdos card. You can pay 2, sacrifice another creature or an enchantment. Slaughter Priest of Mogis gains first strike until end of turn. Yeah, that's really solid, and it's exactly what Rakdos wants. Sacrificing creatures is part of it, for sure. Next we have Staggering Insight, which is a Azorius card. It's a uncommon enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's really good. Yeah, that's very, very good. So, we have Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, which is a Elder Giant Mythic Rare, 3 mana Simic, and it is a 6/6. So when Uro enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. So again, you have to pay the escape cost and the regular mana cost, but again, this is a Simic card. Simic is going to have so much mana after this set, so it won't matter. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life and draw a card. The other great thing about this is you still get this effect even though you sacrifice it, right? So the first turn you play this, you may not get a creature right away, but you still get the enter the battlefield effect, which is really nice. And then there's one more thing that I need to add about this, and I did see this from, again, that one video I saw about these cards. There is a white card, and it's called Hushbringer, and what that card does is it prevents any abilities that are activated when a card enters the battlefield from happening. So basically, you could have Hushbringer in your deck, and then put Hushbringer. So let's say you had a Bant deck, which is green, blue, white. You have Hushbringer, then you put this card out on the battlefield. You don't have to sacrifice it, right? Because it doesn't do it. The only thing with that is you also don't get the second ability, which is you gain 3 life and draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So, yeah, it's kind of like up and down, but you would get a 6/6 creature for 3 mana if you had Hushbringer, which is pretty amazing. Salam said here it's almost over. I don't play Magic myself, but I've always loved the art on the cards. Well, if you really love the art, just by going through this set, I've seen so much cool art. So feel free to go to this website. It's Wizards of the Coast, and the set is called Theros Beyond Death. The art is awesome, but yeah, I am gonna be ending soon. But thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. And then the last thing on that card is the escape cost is 4, and you have to exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. So a lot of stuff there, but this card is going to be very good and used a lot. And then we have Warden of the Chained, and it's a Gruul card, uncommon Minotaur Warrior. It has trample. It can't attack unless you control another creature with power 4 or greater. And it's a 4/4, so that's fine. It's not great. It's pretty cheap for being a 4/4, but that ability is a little tough. So yeah, I think we do have artifacts. I guess we can look at the artifacts before we go. So we'll look at this one. Enchanting Lyre. You may choose not to untap it's basically pacifism, except you can change it, right? I don't know if it's that great though. Mirror Shield, 2 mana. Quick creature gets +0/+2 and has hexproof. And whenever a creature with Death Touch blocks or becomes blocked by this creature, destroy that creature. Interesting. It's kind of like a Gorgon type of mythology type of thing. Nyx Lotus. It's 4 mana. It's a legendary artifact. I'm sure it'll give you mana. Nyx Lotus enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap and choose a color. Add an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color. Wow. That's pretty strong. Yep. Next we have Shadow Spear, which is a 1 mana rare equipment legendary artifact. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample and lifelink. Pay 1, permanents your opponent's control, lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Equip 2. That seems extremely good. I mean, you just get so much out of that for 1 mana. Being able to remove hexproof and indestructible, especially if they're using gods and things like that. Yeah, I think you could just use this in so many decks. It has a lot of versatility. Trample is such a strong keyword. So, yeah, that might be one of the best cards in the set. Like, seriously, that's really good. We have Soul Guide Lantern, which 1 mana uncommon. Enter the battlefield, exile target card from a graveyard. Sacrifice it, exile each opponent's graveyard. Oh, that's interesting. Once again, you don't need this card because Grafdigger's Cage exists, so but it's not bad. We have Thundering Chariot, 4 mana. This is a vehicle. Vehicles tend to be garbage, but we'll see what this one is like. 3/3. It has first strike, trample, and haste, and a crew of 1. So the way vehicles work is you have to have at least a creature with the power of the number on the field. So you just need a creature with 1 power in order for this thing to work. So basically, like, since it's a vehicle, you need a creature like a crew member in order for it to work. So this is alright. I think for the cost, it's pretty okay. And as far as vehicles go, I think this is one of the better vehicles that I've seen. And yeah, that's it. So we had that land we already looked at in this one, whatever, and then the temples. But yeah, I am going to go have some dinner, and I'm definitely gonna relax for the rest of the night. But I really want to thank all of you once again for stopping by. This was a very, very long stream for me, and I'm excited. This set looks awesome. I think it starts in Magic Arena tomorrow, so if you have been watching and are interested, I would really encourage you to go get Magic Arena, download it, and this set will be available starting tomorrow. So it's free. You can play Magic Arena for free. You can pay in order to get like booster packs and things like that, but yeah, I would encourage all of you to check it out.